Good morning. This is Richard Peter here in Dallas, Texas, the founding member and the national political director of the new Glorious National Party. Today's date in Dallas, Texas is Wednesday, February the 18th, in the year of our Lord Jesus Christ, 2009. Today, President Obama, today's Wednesday, he's flying in Air Force One to Arizona, Phoenix, Arizona, and he's going to announce a plan to help uh, people that are losing their homes. In the stimulus bill, there are $50 billion that are set aside for this. If you take a $200,000 home and divide that into $50 billion, you've got 250,000 homes whose mortgages could be completely paid off. Of course, you and I both know that that's not going to happen. But bear in mind that over 2 million homes were lost last year, and they expect that number to be the same or even greater this year. So they're going to restructure the notes. Now, I do recommend that if they do restructure the notes, that one half of every payment go to interest, and one half of every payment go to principal. And let me tell you why this is, and how we can see the true colors of our new president and who he's really serving, if there's really change there. If you take a $100,000 home, I want you to call up your banker and ask him to print out an amortization schedule. You'll see that you're paying $200,000 in interest. Only a small amount goes to principal. So if our new President Obama, now I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. Maybe he doesn't understand this, though he has owned homes in the past, I'm sure, and he is President of the United States. So I would assume that he understands this very simple concept. That if you look at an amortization schedule and you see that on a $100,000 home you pay back $200,000 in interest, but the bankers or the central banking cartel, which controls this country's economy right now, says no, you must pay back the interest first, and then you get to have your home. We let you pay back on your principal. Now, the first thing that needs to be done, and this will show you either the true colors of our new president, or it will show you his intelligence or lack of it. If they don't have, as part of these restructuring of mortgages, they're talking about giving bankruptcy judges the right to restructure mortgages. The first thing you do is forbid an interest rate above 4%. The second thing you do is say one half of every payment from now on will go toward the reduction of principal, and one half toward the reduction of interest. And then, of course, the very first thing you should do is go back to my earlier tapes and put the Federal Reserve under the Department of Treasury, forbid fractional banking, take control of the United States currency right now before it's too late. Now, I'm not talking about going back to a gold or silver standard here. What I'm saying is that there needs to be a fourth branch of government called the money branch, controlled by we the people of the United States, and money needs to be released in proportion to the growth of the population, or if there's some new tremendous idea that comes along, like cars that run on water, then money needs to be increased so we can all do that. But what I'm saying is that the money supply does not need to be controlled by a small group of family, the Rockefellers that are allied with the European bankers, and move us more and more toward a centralized system. I'm highly recommending that all of you go out now and put your money, which is going to be worthless in the very near future, into gold and silver. I don't want you to buy gold and silver and put it into safe deposit box, because the government's going to pass confiscation laws that those are not going to be safe anymore either. Where should you buy? You need to find really good gold and silver mining companies. Now, by law, I'm not licensed, so by law right now, I'm not allowed to tell you which ones, but I can tell you that the majority of my wealth is now with the two largest gold and silver mining companies that have proven reserves and wealth in the ground, and I've bought stock certificates in those, because I don't believe that this situation at this point in time is going to turn around, and let me tell you why. This system has been going on since the 14 and 1500s. The kings of England entered into public-private partnerships with bankers in Europe. Let me take it back all the way to the very beginning so that you can understand. Picture yourself on your horse in the Middle Ages, and you've got gold in your leather sacks, and highwaymen on every. They didn't have modern police departments back then. So highwaymen on every corner could take the gold out of your sack, and you'd be penniless, a beggar living under a London bridge somewhere. So what you did was go into the cities in Europe back in the Middle Ages, and you deposited your gold with jewelers, goldsmiths, who had to have vaults to protect themselves from getting robbed. So you put your gold in those vaults, and they gave you a certificate in return for that. And that was the form of early money. Well, there were just a few of these very clever Jewish. Now, I'm Jewish, so I'm not talking about being anti-Semitic here, but I'm Jewish. And even President Obama knows the advantages of having a strong Jewish guy around him. He's got Rahm Emanuel eating apples in the White House. I'll talk more about that later. But here's the thing that I want to share with you. Jewish people are very smart and very clever, but there are very smart and clever people from all over the world, of every race, religion, tribe, and creed, because God, the Father of Starlight, has planted his infinite intelligence in us. Now, we access that by getting out of the way, getting our egos out of the way, getting our human will out of the way, and allowing the intelligence that created Starlight to flow through us. That's why I feel sorry for people who don't believe in God. It's like they're plugged into no electricity at all. Their power supply is gone. Their refrigerator is hooked up to nothing. If you hook your mind, your little tiny human mind that everybody thinks is so insignificant, that taught you in school or high school, giving you an IQ of 120 or 140, your IQ is as high as God's if you diminish your human will and allow God's IQ to fill you and to guide you and to move you into truth. That's how we're going to get out of this problem in this country. I don't care what happens. Please remember, you new members of the Glorious National Party, remember this. Be silent for about a minute before the intelligence that created Starlight. Just give him a second to walk into your consciousness and see if he doesn't guide you and your family into the perfect place at the perfect time. Listen, he knows the number of stars in the heavens. He knows the number of hairs on your head. He has perfect infinite intelligence, but the key here is to get out of the way and let him operate through your mind. Take your hand off the wheel and let him operate. That's why I'm telling you right now, I took my hand off the wheel. He told me to invest in gold and silver mining companies, where I've taken 80% of my family's wealth, and I've done exactly that because he's told me that this system of fractional banking, and let me go back to fractional banking a moment here. What happened was that these Jewish merchants, clever Jews like I am, okay, I'm not anti-Semitic, I'm just telling you they're smart. They noticed that not everybody came back to get their gold, so they printed up more gold certificates than what they had actual gold, and they lent them out at interest. That's a pretty clever idea, so you've got to give the devil credit where credit is due. Okay, but now this whole system of creating money out of nothing is coming to a collapse, and let me tell you why. Not only in addition to not having gold backing up this fiat created money, the Federal Reserve creates money out of thin air. They give the banks $1,000 and they give them the authority to loan out $9,000 out of thin air, and they charge interest to the American people on that money, and they make the American people put their homes up as collateral. That's why Obama's not going to be able to fix this problem. Let me tell you why. Either by divine accident or on purpose, Alan Greenspan opened up the money supply, and they lent money out for people to buy houses that had really no good credit. They had nothing down. They just said, walk into this new $300,000 home, sign your name, don't put any money down, and we're going to move you into the house regardless of credit. And what's more, even if you have a credit problem, we're going to lower your payment for 5 years, and then we'll double it. We'll double it back to what it should be in 5 years. Surely your job would have grown by then. Well, jobs didn't grow by then. In fact, people are being laid off. Now, I'm close to my time limit here. Tomorrow, I'm going to give you more of this story and show you how you and your family can form an alliance with me, the founder and political director of the new Glorious National Party, and we're going to get out of this problem. Why? Because we know the God who created Starlight is going to provide us every good and perfect form The first of which is the abolition of the Federal Reserve. And if those guys don't get out of Washington, well, we might just put them on a scaffold and do you know what. Thank you.